Does what you've learned in these other areas translate at all to podcasting? Do plotting and pantsing translate over, or is it just completely different or completely easy? You don't even have to think of it as an artistic medium.
No, podcasting to me, the more you know about the person, the better. The more prepared you are to bring up the stories that you think are most interesting about that person, the better. Sometimes I'll call the guest before and go, number one, what do you want to promote? Because it's why they're there, right? And number two, are there any stories that I don't know that you want to tell? And then I'll ask them about that story as though I knew about it. But it's, I'll do my research on the internet and go, oh yeah, they were, they took karate and they did this, and whatever's interesting to me, I'll ask about. And the more you seem to have worked on it, the more they open up. And the more you tell them, hey, anything you don't like, we'll just cut out. I don't give a fuck, and they go, okay. Then they open up. My personal philosophy of comedy is that you can be either funny or honest. You can be both, but it's just as entertaining to be honest as it is to be funny. Like if you tell an honest story, you scratch the same itch. People are like, oh, they're listening. They want to hear about it. You don't have to be funny to be entertaining. And I think I really learned that from like the latest incarnation of Howard Stern. He in the 80s and 90s to some degree, a great degree, he was a little bit threatening to me. Like he was like into, like skating the racial line, I thought, quite a bit. And treated, in my view, treated women in a certain way that I thought was like not really how I was raised, but it was entertainment to him. As it turns out, now he's evolved into like this highly intellectual guy who does treat women well, but also admits to being a voracious sexual animal and objectifies them while also treating them well, and has abandoned the race stuff. But the most important thing is he just tells the stories honestly. And sometimes they're really funny, and sometimes they're just really honest. And you go, I'm entertained even on the honest stories that are not funny. And I'm like, huh. So when I wrote that book, I actually dedicated that book to Howard Stern. Because I'm like, this is exactly, obviously I'm not Howard Stern, but I took his unspoken philosophy of entertainment and interpreted it for myself. He's the reason why Mustache Shenanigans is what, if it, to me, I'm like, okay, everything I write is going to be honest first. And if it's funny, fine. If it's not, fine, fuck it. It works for Stern, it can work for me.